So I am here to present Jane with an award, and I would not have missed this for anything, and I'm going to apologize in advance. Something's going on with Orlando Bloom, so I'm serious. So I've got to leave as soon as this is over, so I apologize. There is not a whole lot that Jane has not done. And before I go through this weighty list of accomplishments for Jane, I should tell you the one thing that she is not great at, I want to start with that because all of these other things are things she's great at, is sports. And I think my favorite Jane Velez-Mitchell story, and I have known her for at least a quarter century, my favorite story is when she was anchoring KCAL. And one night somebody said in her ear that they just got video of Shaquille O'Neal doing something really awesome for some bystander, or saved a bystander or something. So Jane breathlessly looks in the camera and says, "We're gonna take a break, but when we come back, there is amazing video of Shaquille O'Neal maybe saving a bystander from death. We'll have her story when we come back." Oh man. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about Jane. And this is just a little bit. She is an award-winning journalist and host. She is currently the editor of Jane Unchained, and she has produced hundreds of videos. She has done remarkable work with these videos, and they have gone around the world, and she has chronicled animal rights activism and demonstrations from all over the world. She is a best-selling New York Times author, written 4 incredible books, one called I Want, which, I've read a lot, I read a lot. This book changed my life, and it really did. It's an amazing book. It's called I Want. Jane has used every platform in media, television, web, everywhere she can find to advocate for the voiceless animals that she has spoken for so fiercely. She has been an advocate of compassionate plant-based lifestyle. She is a committed vegan. Jane has been sober for 21 years and will tell everybody about it, and is inspirational beyond words. She is the recipient of the Tail Waggers Foundation 2016 Waggy Awards.
Thank you. But I know who you're really giving a standing ovation to. It's not me. Puerto Rico, hence the name Little Rico. And I have to say, on a personal note, he was my mom's dog. My mom passed away 6 months ago and would have been 100 years old today. So, happy birthday, Mom, we love you. Oh my gosh, first of all, do we love the food here tonight? Unbelievable. I want to give a shout out, and I hope the chefs are listening. Franco and Raznik, you rock. Your food is amazing. And it's living proof that nobody has to die for us to have a good meal. Nobody has to die for us to have a good, delicious meal. So this is an amazing organization, and I know we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. I'm sure the after party is going to be very wild. I can tell from this crowd. But I do have to say a few things on a serious note. I started Jane Unchained when, after doing journalism in mainstream media for many decades, I realized, with a couple of exceptions, that mainstream media doesn't cover animal rights. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that I was able to cover animal rights because of Harvey Levin. This is the first time I was able to do an animal rights story, and I was in local news for decades. I shouldn't say exactly how long I was in local news. I like to, let's reel that back. I was in local news for quite a few years and was never able to do a story about animals, ever. I was kind of that freak in the newsroom who picked up the glue traps and didn't want to call a rodeo a fun feature story, and I was a general pain in the ass about animal issues. And when I got to Celebrity Justice, Harvey would have a meeting every morning at 7:30 a.m. in Glendale and say, "Where's the celebrity? Where's the justice?" And I always seemed to find a celebrity who would speak to us because they cared deeply about animal issues, including Robert Redford, who spoke to me because he was trying to stop the U.S. military from decimating the whale population with their sonar tests. So thank you, Harvey, for that. And it was with Celebrity Justice that we won 2 Genesis Awards. And then I was able to do a weekly segment on HLN, which I was very blessed to do, where we covered a lot of serious animal issues. But after that show ended, my girlfriend, who is videotaping this, Donna Dennison, who's also an animal activist and who works very hard on Jane Unchained, she had just given me a GoPro for my birthday. I said, you know what, let's go out and shoot some animal rights stories. Let's go to a protest and see what happens. And I always kind of knew this, but it was shocking to me. Protest after protest after protest, event after event after event, 0 mainstream news media coverage, 0. And they would literally, the news people would walk right by the protesters as if they weren't there. So we started doing these stories to fill that gap. And in 2016, we want to train everyone with a cell phone camera to become the news media for animals. So please, if you have a cell phone, you can videotape this. We're videotaping this. You can videotape your any kind of a rescue group that you have. Tell your stories, because the mainstream media isn't going to tell those stories for you, unfortunately, with a few exceptions. So getting to animals and saving animals. We all love our dogs and cats. Obviously, I love our dogs and our cat and all dogs and cats. But I would be remiss if I didn't use this opportunity to say that the vast majority of animals that are suffering horrifically are not dogs and cats. We put to sleep horrifically and tragically millions of dogs. The estimates vary. That's a crime and it should not happen. But if you want to talk about numerically, statistically, the vast number of animals that are suffering, that do not have names, barcodes that are stapled into their ears, animals that are castrated without anesthesia, whose beaks are cut off, whose tails are cut off, who are languishing right now by the billions in gestation crates, in veal crates, never able to turn around, ripped from their mothers at birth, never able to spend a moment with their mothers. Those are farm animals. And those, unfortunately, are the animals that do not have any legal protections. Pretty much 0. Because the USDA is always there and looks the other way, because the USDA has an inherent conflict because they promote the consumption of meat and dairy products. What we really need to do to advance society is enhance and broaden our circle of compassion to include dogs and cats, but also to include all those nameless, voiceless animals who are out there who have all the intelligence of our dogs and cats. Indeed, pigs have a higher IQ than dogs. And so I ask all of you, and I know you guys really care, and all of you in this room, to think about that as you go forward, because really, that is the key to human evolution. When we realize that we don't have to kill to survive, that is going to be the big leap. And life isn't a zero-sum game. We don't need to kill to survive. And once we, as a species, figure that out, so much will change. We will be able to end war. We will be able to end starvation and malnutrition around the world. We will be able to stop climate change in its tracks. Meat production is one of the biggest causes of climate change. Again, nobody talks about it. Watch the film Cowspiracy. It's on Netflix. Yeah, good film. So I leave you with that. I want to thank Jeff and this entire team. An incredible event. I told my girlfriend I'm not proposing, but this is the kind of place where I'd like to get married. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much. Woo!